So, good evening, everybody. And thank you so much for joining us on this Friday evening. I know it's festive time, and hence all of us are also busy with a lot of festivities. But the conversation that we are having today is very important, and I think it becomes all the more important during festive time when we want everyone to be felt wanted, and we want everyone to be together. My name is Reema Kosuri, and I am the Chief Customer Service Officer for an organization called Elders India. And I would like to just welcome Mr. K.S. Raghunandan. Can you get Raghu also on the spotlight? I just want to introduce him. So Raghu is the founder and CEO of Elders India. And Elders India is a B2B initiative, and we are working in the space of elder care services. Raghu is the ex-corporate leader, belongs to that background, and his personal journey and personal challenges kind of made him want to create a platform where people who are struggling with multiple challenges during their life, between professional, personal, and other challenges, can get some kind of support, can create an environment of support for their parents. So thank you. We are honored to be doing this session today in collaboration with Silver Talkies. I will just give a brief intro because I know Nidhi will also be speaking a little bit about it. So Silver Talkies is a community which has been created to empower the older adults to live better and provide new experiences as they age. So the aim of Silver Talkies is to build a vibrant community of happy, active, and healthy older adults and make loneliness a non-issue. Breaking stereotypes associated with adults or older people, being inclusive, and generating awareness about adults' holistic well-being is one of their biggest aims. We are delighted to have with us Nidhi Chawla, who is the co-founder and business head of Silver Talkies. Nidhi is passionate about making active aging a viable goal for older people, and she dreams of a society of empowered older adults. She herself has several years of experience in the financial services sector and also has been the recipient of several leadership awards for her work in the elder care space, and is also currently a member of the CII Senior Care Task Force. Thank you, Nidhi. Thank you, Silver Talkies, for being with us here today. So how we are going to run this session is we have requested Nidhi to first kickstart the session and share some of her insights and perspectives based on the experience she has had over the years, building Silver Talkies and also engaging with a large fraternity of not only older adults, but also getting to know their sons and daughters per se. So Nidhi is going to be doing some sharing basis her experience and expertise. And post that, we have two very special guests whom I'm going to introduce later on. But they are here and they are going to be sharing some of their very, very personal experiences with us. So thank you to all of you for joining in today. I'm hoping that we do have some time for live interaction. But if any questions do come into your mind as the session is going on, please do keep putting them on the chat box, and we will try and ensure that we take up those questions. I'm going to hand over to Nidhi. Nidhi, all yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Reema. Thank you, Raghu. First of all, a very warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for joining us today on a Friday afternoon. As Reema said, I think all of us have a lot of festivities to prepare for, but it's good to see all of you here. And it's so lovely to see so many familiar faces in the room. So everybody who's come here from the Silver Talkies community, thank you so much for attending this session today. And thank you so much, Reema, Raghu, and the Elders India team for having us here. So I just have a short presentation. I will try and keep it very concise and to the point. Just give me a second while I bring it up. So what we are here to talk about today, I think is a mission very close to the Silver Talkies heart, because that's where, it's all about creating this community, which is lively, which is vibrant, which is healthy, and most importantly, which is happy. So Before I get into the topic for today, how social and emotional engagement is very important, I would like you to see those members, those faces on the screen. They are all members of Silver Talkies community, the Silver Talkies Club. And these are the happy faces that we really, really love to see every day. And now, before I go there, I wanted you to meet my parents. That picture that you see there is actually of my parents. This is a few years ago when we had gone on a road trip. This is on a Pondicherry beach. And I think this is one of my favorite pictures because I have really not, this is one of the few pictures where they are actually laughing out loud like that. And this is, the kind of life that could be or has been, I don't know, we will find out. But, this is an ideal day in a senior's life where you're relaxed, you're enjoying doing what you want to do. Life is easy, it's convenient, everything is available to you. You have family to speak to or to live with, and you have friends to go out with, you have activities to keep yourself busy, and you have a good night's sleep. But now, meet my parents for real. So the desired state always, of course, is we have happy and healthy older adults. But with the nuclear families and the empty nesters, loneliness, depression, and isolation is the reality. We wish productive and active lifestyles for them. But lack of social and vocational opportunities is a reality too. We want our parents to be really healthy, have manageable, manageable health issues, but chronic and lifestyle diseases are very common. We want them to be financially independent, but retired at 60, they really do not know what to do with their time, and lack of financial resources is something which is very real again. We want affordable medical facilities, but we all know how expensive healthcare is and how non-existent social security system and health insurance covers are, right? And to top it all, while we wish for an inclusive environment, we want senior-friendly infrastructure. I think we are far away from it. So this is not just the story of my parents. I think it's a story of many parents around us, right? And that is the reality that we are living in today. And that actually is even entire India's story. So we currently have about 8% of our population as the 60 plus, and this is expected to go up to as much as 20%, which is almost equivalent to about 323 million people, right? And given the old age dependency ratio currently is 90.2%, it's only about to get worse off because very soon seniors would be outnumbering the youngsters in our country. Then longevity, of course, as we all know, with the medical advancement and everything else that's happening, we are living a longer life, right? And surveys which have been done in the last few years, these findings are from the AgeWell Foundation survey on needs and wants of older adults, which says 64% of the urban elderly actually feels lonely. And 1 in 2 elderly is still very dependent on the family support system. While 71% of the seniors actually said that they really wanted productive engagement for financial reasons. So, this is kind of a reaffirmation of, based on observation, what we know already around us, even the stats tell us the same, that elderly issues are real issues that we all have around us. But I think what we are here for today is to focus on something which we don't speak about or don't understand enough of. Now, what you see on your screen right now are the findings of a survey which was done in 2018 it was called the Jug Jug Jeenge survey by IBH, where they surveyed younger adults and older adults to understand what are the primary concerns. So the younger adults, the children were asked, what do you think are the concerns of your parents who are living alone? And their parents were also surveyed for the same, right? And as you would see, 67% of the youngsters thought that physical health is an issue for their parents, while only 10% of those elders agreed. And 6% of the youngsters thought social life is an issue, while as much as 36% said social life is a real issue for us, and that's our concern. And that is where we are headed today with the conversation that we want to have. And the same survey kind of highlighted how almost 90% of the youngsters who were spoken to they really did not understand that how social interactions for their parents were very, very limited. And 71% of the elders actually said their social interactions needed improvement, right? And this is something, having been part of Silver Talkies since 2014, I think this is an understanding that I have also gained with my parents, right? There was a time when I would, call up my mom who stays in Delhi and just ask her, Mama, aapki tabiyat kaisi? How are you doing today? How is your health? Is your knees okay? Is your hand okay? Or whatever issue that she may be facing. I think I had never bothered to ask her how she was doing emotionally. Did she go out to meet someone, right? So I think by habit, we just pick up the phone and we inquire about the physical health, completely ignoring how they would be feeling emotionally and socially. Emotionally, also, we sometimes, while we may find out, yes, they are depressed or they have an issue, we find ourselves very challenged to have that conversation with them, how to offer them solace or how to offer them solutions, right? So that's the problem that we have right now, that we as youngsters struggle to figure out what our parents really, really wanting, right? And the answer to that actually is the whole active aging framework. Active aging framework, if I were to kind of put it out in a more understandable phrase, it's actually focusing on the holistic well-being, where it says for you to age well and successfully, these are the different dimensions that one needs to look at. And so it does not only include physical and intellectual needs of a person, it also looks at emotional, social, spiritual, vocational, and environmental areas, right? And this is what forms the foundation of the Silver Talkies work. So who are we? So we are actually a social enterprise, a social impact organization. And as Rima introduced us in the beginning, our vision has been to create a society of empowered older adults so that they can age with dignity and with grace. And our focus is on holistic well-being. So we do not ignore physical well-being at all. It's an integral part, but we do bring in a whole lot of social and emotional well-being into our work. And I'll tell you how. So it's our belief, because active aging is the most promising and economical form of preventive healthcare. And as you will interact with Sutapa and Rajiv later on, who are the guests who are joining us today, they will tell you the real life stories on how they have really seen, what is the connection between social and emotional and physical well-being. So as I said, we have a deep focus on community and holistic well-being, because what we have learned through the work, that once you put anyone, it's actually, I think it's age agnostic. Anybody who has a community available to them of a peer group, they automatically thrive, right? Because given you are in a group which is doing so much, you're going out, you're meeting up, you're having fun together, it has a strong influence on promoting holistic well-being, which goes beyond just the physical health. And all these pictures, again, entire presentation that you would see, the pictures that have been used, these are from actual Silver Talkies activities, and these are all people who have been associated with Silver Talkies. So at the Silver Talkies Club, which is a platform that we have created, we try and address all these different issues which are highlighted by seniors as their primary concern. Our main focus is on loneliness and social isolation, which we try and kind of tackle through a community concept, where the idea is to give a platform where friendships and companionship will emerge, they will evolve, right? And there is an enhanced emotional and social quotient. Lack of engagement opportunities, our members have a very vibrant routine, week on week, month on month, where they attend a lot of activities online, starting from awareness topics to recreational programs, or fun and entertainment shows, or tech classes. So there are a lot of things which happen on our calendar for our members, so that they really do not get bored. And to top it all, we do understand that just an online activity is not sufficient. They need to meet each other. They need to, really hug each other. They need to know each other. So we also have physical meetups every quarter in different cities. So currently we actually have members in 11 different cities, and we have city chapters active in about six cities as of now. For vocational opportunities, we offer volunteering opportunities to our members. So we have NGO tie-ups, and as and when we have any second career opportunities coming to us, we pass it along to them. And our members also write for us. We have a Silver Talkies magazine that they write for. So we give, and something which is not covered here, we actually invite a lot of our members to conduct sessions for their friends. So, if you have a skill, if you have experience, if you have knowledge, you're most welcome to come and, share it with your fellow group members. For health concerns, hello? Sorry, was there a question there?
I think it was just somebody who was unmuted.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah. So regarding health concerns, we have tie-ups with different health partners, so that whenever you have a need, you have all facilities available under the Silver Talkies roof. And we also offer, special offers that we bring in through our partners onto our platform, exclusively created for our members. And we also offer, a lot of volunteer support, which comes through our NGO partner, MayaCare, where if you have a need, for example, there have been cases where somebody has been feeling very lonely and they want, somebody to talk to. So we have organized phone buddies for them, where they can just talk to someone on a day-to-day basis or once a week, whatever that agreed or preferred frequency is. We've had our members who have taken, lessons, exclusive individual lessons in learning something new like PowerPoint or Microsoft Excel. So we have volunteer pool available through our partners who can help you out with your day-to-day needs. So this is all delivered through our, our mobile app, where you will, just in one app, you can access your events, you can access the magazine, you can be in touch with your friends, which is the community. You can access your offers and deals. And very soon we would be even introducing experts like geriatricians and legal and financial advisors on the platform, so that you have all those facilities available to you, under one ecosystem, which you can access completely and freely. And these are some impact stories. I think, unless we talk about real stories, you really cannot understand it, right? These are all members who have been our members since 2018 and 19. Colonel Sam, he lost his wife a few years ago. I think he had cooped up for a long, long time till he actually decided that, yes, I need to do something for myself. And he became a member with us. And he very openly and vocally talks about it, that how he found a new lease of life and he moved out of depression and loneliness. And now he's an active member. He comes out for our meetups. He has attended a lot of digital literacy sessions that we conducted on our platform. And, so he feels comfortable with technology as well. Kanchana is a member. This was a message that she had shared when she turned 60 last year. She was all excited being, a senior now, because she felt that she was actually doing so much better physically and mentally than she was when she was younger. And this was because she had been very regularly attending our yoga classes and fitness classes that were happening on the platform. And, she felt a remarkable change in her physical and emotional health and mental health as well. Sheila, I remember, it was just, as she has mentioned in her quote there, that she actually just had joined just to try it out and see whether I like this or not. And she's a member still. She has traveled with us. We went to Banaras together. We have met up on many occasions. She participated in our musical Ram Leela show that we curated online last year. So, so all these members are very, very active participants at the activities that we do. And I think that's what, kind of brings the change in them, because they are not just active, they are also happy because they are surrounded by friends and they do things together. So I think I wanted to kind of highlight how the misnomer is. I'm sure if there are any younger people who are listening to us today, these are some of the things which I would like to leave you with. This I'm saying from my own personal experience as well, having worked with my parents and of course the senior community that we have at Silver Talkies. As I said in the beginning, we tend to put a lot of focus on the physical health. But the fact is that the lack of social and emotional engagement and lack of financial independence is completely, is a key concern too. So that one needs to look into. And social and emotional engagement actually plays a huge role in keeping them healthy physically and mentally. So you cannot ignore that. We generally tend to kind of sideline older adults by saying, oh, they are technologically challenged, or my parents cannot join Zoom, or they cannot be online. I'm looking only for a physical format for that. Actually, that's completely wrong. They are highly adaptive. They can learn new things, and with the right support, I think many a times we blame them while completely forgetting that we actually have a role to play. We are responsible to help them adapt. So with right support, they can definitely learn. And I think the pandemic was a living proof of that, because we were a community which was before the pandemic only Bangalore focused, a lot of physical activities. At one point in time, we also thought maybe it's time to shut down for us. But then we took a leap of faith. We went online, and then so did our members with us. They are all virtually connected with each other. They attend these sessions, and many of them actually find it very beneficial, because commuting and traveling and mobility is well taken care of when you can attend sessions online. So they do enjoy it once once you have handheld them a little bit with some support and got them onboarded, right? Lastly, I think that's a very important one. We generally tend to think that older adults have very traditional tastes and desires. Okay, they like bhajan, maybe they like yoga. Maybe they will go for Teerth Yatra or pilgrimage, right? These are the usual misconceptions that we start off with. Even we had them when we started doing our events and activities in 2014. We thought this is probably what we should try out with. But let me tell you, lo and behold, they actually love doing everything under the sun. So I think the opportunities that they did not have when they were younger, while they were taking care of their families, and while they were bringing up their kids, they are now ready to do it all. But it actually will happen when they are in a right peer group, because when they look at each other, it's the best way to move forward, right? So for example, at Silver Talkies, we have had ballroom dance workshops, we have had theater workshops, creative writing, painting and art classes, cooking classes. There's so much, and they all love to learn all of that. But then it becomes easier. One, it's a platform which is exclusively for their age group, because then there is no, you're not fighting an age-related battle when you're surrounded by youngsters. You can take it at your own pace. And when you do it with friends, of course, it's more fun, right? So that's where the community becomes really important. These are just some of the messages that we receive from some of the kids whose parents are part of the Silver Talkies community. How they have seen the change happening for their parents ever since they have been a part of the community. Like as Kanika says, her parents are actually, both mom and dad are very, very active members, and they have been part of the fashion show. They've done theater, they have done ballroom dancing. They love traveling. So, so it's, and just to clarify, it's not necessary that each older adult needs to be extroverted and adventurous, right? It's something you would find. We have many people who who are quieter, who do not participate as much, but still they stay back. They still have been members for a long time, because again, even though they may not be participating actively, but I think knowing that there is a group that I have available to myself, that plays a huge effect on them, to know that I belong. Somebody is there for me, somebody cares for me, right? So in our group, from homemakers to lawmakers, from introverts to extroverts, you will find them all, right? So there is something for everyone to choose from. So, when I say classes, we also have a yoga class, we have a pranayama class running, we have a bhajan class running, but then there is Tai Chi also happening, there is a fitness class also happening. So, so there is a diverse variety which is created, so that people can pick and choose what suits their personality or their health conditions or what their preferences are. This is just watch it and then you would know this is what I'm talking about.
We don't have the sound on this.
Sorry, what did you say?
There is no sound coming through.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait. I think I need to, sorry, I'll just say this again because I would probably need to share the computer audio. 1 second.
Yeah. I thought it was just a slideshow of pictures.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, no problem.
Wait, let's go back on this one. Let me know if you can hear it now.
Every event has been so original. The fashion show is something I'll never forget till I die.
Personally, for me, it has been a fabulous journey. Fabulous last 1 year plus now.
What a lovely group, friends, that feeling, that bond, that communication, that assurance, that love. It's amazing.
So I just want to end this by, a quote from Mr. Ratan Tata. I think this was something very recently. He spoke at an event at the launch of another elder care company where he said, you do not know what it is like to be lonely until you spend time alone wishing for companionship. And here is something else which all of us need to think about, especially if there are youngsters in the room today, that actually treating loneliness is our collective responsibility. And we are responsible not just for our children, but even for our parents, neighbors, and strangers, because we are all social animals, and as social species, we need to do it for each other. So these are some of the faces of the Silver Talkies community that I want to leave you with. If you are an employer, I would really request you to actually invest in extending your employee benefit programs to include parent care and give them a gift of happiness, give them a gift of liveliness, because this is what they deserve and they are looking for it. It's not that they are not. They are looking for it. They probably just do not know as yet. So just let them enjoy life and take care of themselves. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nidhi. That was absolutely wonderful. I think the memories of all these lovely pictures, the bright last smiles is something that's going to stay with all of us. And I'm just taken back to yesterday. Karwa Chauth is a big festival in the north. And this whole community of women got together in the central park of our society. And there were women of all ages, obviously. The youngsters were there, all dressed up and looking vibrant. But there were these ladies who were there in the 60s and 70s who were all a part of the festive spirit yesterday. And there were women who were single or who've been widowed, but they were still there. There was an 80, 85-year-old granny who said, I have just come here to be a part of this liveliness and just to give my blessings to all the youngsters there. So such a beautiful feeling to be left with when you know that seeing happiness all around just makes them all smile. So thank you very much, Nidhi. And I'm glad that we're not going to end this here. And we have two very special guests to kind of validate and share with us what Nidhi just spoke about. So I am so delighted to have these two very special people with us, and I'm going to introduce them one by one. Vinod, I will request you to also spotlight them. So our first special guest is Ms. Sutapa Das Gupta. So she's a 65-year young at heart person, is how I would like to call her. She decided to join this community of people to keep herself engaged after both her children moved abroad to pursue their careers. And she says that she now finds herself busier than ever. She has more time to herself, enjoys the small pleasures of everyday living, like watering the garden, trying out new recipes, and refreshing her memory by rereading old novels.
The sound is not clear, please.
I think somebody's unmuted, yeah.
Somebody unmuted. Is it fine? Yeah. And we are going to have some more conversations with Sutapa to really understand how her entire social and emotional well-being has also impacted her personal life. Second guest today is Rajiv Desai. Rajiv is a diversity, equity, and inclusion practitioner, and he helps organizations initiate and grow the DEI work. Prior to this, he served as Gartner's first ever DEI and CSR leader and is also the board chair for ORAM. But today, Rajiv is not here in his professional capacity, but he is here as the son of Chandrika Desai, another very active Silver Talkies Club member. And he is going to be sharing his journey as a son and the journey of his mother on how their lives have been impacted by being part of larger communities. Just to note, Rajiv resides in Berlin in Germany, while his mom, Chandrika, is based out of Bangalore. Thank you, Rajiv. Thank you, Sutapa. So delighted to have both of you here today with us. And I have a lot of questions, but just let's start with a couple of basic ones. So Sutapa, why don't you share with the audience here what made you join a larger community or be part of a community like Silver Talkies?
Yes, first, thank you, Rima, for that introduction and for having me here. Actually, I was going through a difficult phase in my life. My mother-in-law was ill and she was bedridden for a long time. And at that time, although I did have home care assistance, but I still felt, the primary responsibility lay with me. So I would, make a special effort to cook their meals, be there at their meal times. But all this, it restricted my social life because I couldn't go out much and I couldn't meet my friends. I couldn't go out for movies much because, going out for long time periods would have created difficulties at home. So although I felt in a way that I was doing the right thing, but at the core of my heart, I felt that I was also missing out on some things. I did have a lot of friends and they were very supportive. They would call me up and inquire about me and also come over because I couldn't go to their houses. But still I felt, I needed to go out and create my own space, somewhere where I could leave my baggage behind. I could talk to people on just my own terms, not about what's happening at home, but talk about things that I could do, that I could share. I could share my ideas, what I wanted to do, and just, enjoy life out of my house. So this is the time when I heard about, Silver Talkies. My sister was always, already connected to it. And I learned that they were, setting up a club where seniors would be invited to join and have a kind of a common platform where they could all engage with each other, and they were going to organize events and workshops and talks for us. And I thought that this was the kind of opportunity that I was looking for. And so I didn't hesitate. Though I knew that it might, mean that I would have to go out, but I still felt I needed it. At that point of time, I really needed it.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing that so openly. So Rajiv, we heard Nidhi also talking about saying how youngsters did not really understand the need for the parents to have that kind of social interaction. And most sons and daughters really do not think beyond health and safety of their parents. The first thing is, how are you doing? How's your health? Like Nidhi also said, I also call up my mom saying, oh, are your eyes doing okay, etc. So what kind of prompted you to help your mom, Chandrika, in this journey?
Yeah. Thanks for that question, Rima. And again, huge thanks to all of you for even having me on this important topic today. It's lovely to see all the faces and the presentation as well. For me, that's a really good question. I think there were two big prompts for me. One was, I would actually argue that even my generation is not so good at taking care of our own emotional well-beings, right? Mental health is not often talked about. Only now in the last few years, we're seeing a lot of momentum in that space. So, for me, about 5-6 years ago, when I was still living in Washington, D.C., I sought out therapy for myself, right? I was going through some of my own issues, and it really helped me see some more clarity from an emotional perspective. And so I think that was one big trigger to say, well, if I benefited so much and it's such an important topic, what about my parents? Now, my father, before he died in 2018, this was never a conversation he was willing to have, right? For him, it was always physical health, and that's it. He didn't care about anything else. And so when he was diagnosed with first dementia and then Alzheimer's, my mom, of course, went into a complete caregiver mode, right? Everything from going to the psychiatrist, the geriatric psychiatrist, the psychologist, all the MRI scans. And my mom, being a super organized person, she spent hours and hours looking after this whole project, right? Keeping detailed records of what the doctors said, the daily behaviors, the daily food intakes. Like, she really went into like a 360 mode of, looking after my father. And back then, my friend Divya, who's a psychologist in Bangalore, she very shrewdly and promptly told me, Rajiv, taking care of the caregiver is actually more important than taking care of the care receiver, right? So for me, it was, okay, mom is doing a great job of taking care of my father, but what can I do to make it easier for my mother, right? And so she was also very active with Silver Talkies back then. And I felt that I would have to encourage her a lot more to continue that momentum and not give it up, right? Because it's very easy to say, no, father's health is important, everything else takes the backstage. And luckily she didn't give it up. She was still active. And then I would keep that conversation going by asking her, how was it? What did you learn? What did you present? And, I think it helps to also know that we've had a pretty good communication cadence for many years, right? It's not something we just launched overnight. And so that always helps to kind of move past that example of, like what Nidhi said, that, how are you, how's your health, how's your leg, how's your hand, to more. So because we talk more often, there are also more opportunities to talk about, what, did you enjoy the class? What did you think about it? What did other participants share in the class? Was somebody more conservative? Was somebody more progressive? We would actually have some really fun conversations around these topics. And I think that was also quite helpful to think about the social and emotional elements of my mother's journey, as opposed to just focusing on the, the health piece. And then the last thing I'll say is, I've said this to many people. I treat my mom like my friend, right? We've traveled together. We've done hobbies together. In fact, there was one trip to Japan for her 70th birthday. Because we had so many common interests, we actually didn't allow my father to come, right? We're like, this is mom and son. We're going to go to Japan and do all the stuff that my mom wants to do without the the added pressure of, oh, will dad enjoy it? Will he kind of like derail the plan? And so we just went on, and that was, by far one of my most memorable trips. So I think it's a mix of your own communication style, your own, what did my journey for my own mental health and well-being help me with my mom's journey as well. And then also looking at the broader environment that this happens in.
Lovely, lovely. This sounds so nice. Okay, so I'm going back to Sitapa. So we talked about why and how you kind of joined Silver Talkies. So Sitapa, I'm sure a lot of people present here would also like to know a little bit more now that how has life really changed for you after being with a larger community of people, after engaging with different sets of people? What are the changes that you feel have come into your life?
Well, a lot has changed, really, a lot has changed. Because once I joined Silver Talkies, they had so many programs and so many events lined up. And, I couldn't resist joining some of them. And the most advantageous part was that I could do it all sitting at home. I didn't have to go out. And particularly during the COVID times, this came as a godsend because people were not going out, but still Silver Talkies kept, organizing these talks and events online. And we could all join in from home. And during this period, I learned so many things, from tech classes to blogging to Learning Bridge and whatnot, a whole gamut of things. I really enjoyed, joining those classes, and definitely that has changed my life. I feel more empowered now. I feel that I can do many things. I have learned new things. And although I'm not, I haven't grown an expert overnight, but still, there's just the joy of learning. That gives me a lot of happiness and satisfaction.
Oh, lovely. So I'm going to stay with you here because while having that little chat with you yesterday, we also got to know that you had taken to writing poetry at a later age. And tell us a little bit about that. And I hope that you are also going to be able to recite a few lines of any piece that you have written.
Okay, so Rima, in this context, I must mention one thing that Nidhi didn't. Silver Talkies has really done a wonderful job of, connecting the youngsters with the seniors. I mean, many of these classes have been conducted by young people, and they are so knowledgeable about, so many things, and it was a pleasure learning from them. And creative learning class was, one such class where I got to learn from a young girl, Shivangi. She happens to be the daughter of one of our own members. And she was so, patient and understanding. And also she's really knowledgeable. And with her encouragement, I started to write. And never before had I, even dreamt of writing poetry, but still it was part of the course. So I did try. And I don't know, it came out well. And since then I have written a few more. And I don't know, I really don't have,
Let's hear one of them. I'm sure it will be nice for all of us. It will be encouraging for so many, not only the elderly people, but also the younger people who feel inhibited at trying out new things.
Okay, first I'll recite a few lines. It's a limerick about Silver Talkies itself. It kind of, it kind of just describes what Silver Talkies is all about.
Sure.
A phenomenon called Silver Talkies is turning teenagers into busy bees, flitting from class to class, discovering new vistas, or simply chatting with online buddies. So this was, Silver Talkies in a nutshell. And now a poem I wrote about my own, journey of writing. This is the first poem I wrote, in fact. There was a time I loved to write, but then my ideas ran dry. Now I think, why not pick up a pen and once more give it a try? I wrote about ordinary things of matters big and small, things that I cared deeply about, but others didn't see at all. I learned to bottle up my thoughts and hid them deep in my core. So much so, one day it happened, I couldn't find them anymore. Change of scene, change of place. I started to write again. This time I wrote about great leaders and where they lived and when. Why they did, what they did, how they changed the world. For young people to follow their lead, blazing dreams unfurled. My own thoughts, they stayed within, thirsting to come outside, searching for a time and place to burst forth like a tide. That day is today, the time is now. I've picked up a pen once more. I'll surely find my long lost thoughts and give them wings to soar.
Wow, absolutely brilliant.
Super Padre.
Thank you.
I must say, not only have you written such a beautiful piece, but it also really shows the transformation that you've kind of gone through. So
Yes, actually, I was a copywriter, before I came to Bangalore. I worked as a copywriter in Calcutta. But since coming to Bangalore, I gave up my job and I was not doing anything much, any writing.
I'm so glad. I'm so honored that you allowed us to ask you to recite a poem, and you kind of did that. So thank you so much for sharing that. I'm sure a lot of us are going to feel encouraged to rethink about the constraints that we have in our mind and move ahead. Okay, so Rajiv, now going back to you. We've also been talking about how social and mental well-being is also very, very important and correlated to physical health. And I would like you to share your thoughts of how you feel it's kind of made a difference. Do you see the correlation between emotional well-being and physical well-being as far as your mom is concerned?
Yeah, I'll fully admit that's a slightly trickier question now that I think about it. But the connection is definitely there, right? We all know this is more like a cycle. It's not one or the other. And then Nidhi's presentation also talked about other well-beings that are all interconnected. My mother has always struggled with overall physical well-being, even though she's very proactive with her annual checkups, her 6-month checkups, but just the day-to-day lifestyle sometimes, can be, again, it's directly linked to her happiness, so we don't say anything, but I think, that's always been a point of opportunity for her. That said, I think it's very fascinating to see how she really embraces good physical well-being when it's tied to what drives her emotionally, right? If she has to go on a trip or if she has to meet friends, that extra walking, that just comes very naturally to her, right? And so for me, when she seeks out what drives her emotionally, it automatically has good physical well-being benefits as well. And then, we always talk about, putting ourselves in environments where we can grow with each other. And I think Silver Talkies' physical well-being activities has been really powerful for my mom. She's very active with the yoga classes and chair yoga classes and all of that. But really most recently, when she decided to move to a senior living retirement community in the north of Bangalore, she joked, she's like, today I did 6,000 steps. I said, how? She's like, well, I went downstairs for 3 events and came back up, right? So just the act of going upstairs and downstairs, she automatically gets 6,000 steps, and most of us can barely get 5,000 in a given day. So I think being in that environment where her social and her emotional needs are there, and she has the opportunity to embrace them, that automatically is giving her benefits on the physical well-being as well. So I think where we can be happy in one area of our lives, it definitely has benefits in the other areas. Rima, you're on mute.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So I am a big advocate of that too. So when we were talking, you also talked about not forcing things on our parents, and just because we feel that this is right for them. So I would like you to share your thoughts, and that's for more of the younger sons or daughters or son-in-laws, daughter-in-laws who may be present here today, to say what would be your suggestion, this is your experiences, what are the things that one should really make note of about your parents' emotional and social well-being. What is the right way? Maybe not the right way is different for everyone, but based on your experience, what would you like to share?
Yeah, I think there is, I'm so glad you said that. I wouldn't say there's many right ways, right? The right way is really what works for you and your families. I think it would be presumptuous for me to assume that what works for me and my mom will work for everyone else. And we've been fine tuning that, in over the course of the years as well. I think for me, the biggest thing is just staying alert and cognizant of the data points that you observe, right? Sometimes relatives tell us, sometimes friends tell us, sometimes, you hear it from other sources, but just keeping a pulse on changes that are happening, and not just physical changes, right? Mental changes, memory changes, conversation changes. When I was in Bangalore last month, two of my aunts said, oh, your mom doesn't talk as much as she used to in larger group settings, right? I was like, oh, that's interesting, right? So we're just talking about that and processing it internally, and we're still not sure what that means for us, but keeping a pulse on some of those data points, I think it's important. But what I have found, and we've talked about this with my cousins and my sister and all of them, is the biggest constant, I think, is how quickly some of these changes happen, right? There is no, it's not like children growing where, teenagers, adolescents, this and that. I think with senior citizens, that change, it can be really fast, really slow, really sudden, really erratic, and you're constantly having to flex and change your approach, right? And I think that's, for me and my sister, that was our biggest aha moment. Even with Dad, 3 years before he was diagnosed, he was great, and then suddenly one year we're getting all these feedback from relatives to say, oh, Rohit doesn't talk much, he repeats stuff, he doesn't remember stuff. It's like, wait, what's going on here? And I was in my 30s, I was living life, and it was hard for me to digest the fact that such a big change happened so quickly, right? So I think the rate of change is what is, and after that, we actually wrote a very comprehensive email to my entire cousins groups to say, look, some of this could be genetic. So we just wanted to kind of bring them on this journey to say, keep an eye out on this for your parents as well, right? I think peer-to-peer learning, even for my generation, for our parents, is going to be very important going forward. So that's one piece. And then the other piece I would say is, it's easy for us to impose our ways of doing things on them, right? One of the hardest things for my mom, even though she is so active socially, is she forgets when things are, right? She'll eventually remember them. So I said, Mom, why don't you just use your calendar on your phone? And she said, I know all my technology, I just can't use the calendar, right? I get confused between notes and reminders and tasks and events. I said, okay, fine, don't worry about that. And so we still haven't figured it out yet, but she has a full-time help with her. So she reminds her for certain things. And that's an area of opportunity for both of us to kind of, solve for. But it's very easy for me to say, just use your calendar on your phone, because that's what I do, but for her, it doesn't work, right? So simple things like that, just helping them find the optimal solution that works for them. And then the last thing I'll say is, don't mean to sound pedantic, but just simplifying all areas of life, whether it be decluttering stuff in the house, decluttering technology. There are old apps that are sitting on the phones that are constantly bombarding her with notifications, streamlining her bank accounts, all that peripheral stuff that just adds noise to the system. I have been actively working on cleaning that up for her, of course, with her, permission. And I think that has really helped her to focus on the things that truly matter, which are friends, social life, and all of that other stuff, right? But otherwise, I mean, I go crazy with my own kind of, day-to-day mundaneness. And so I can only imagine, what it might be doing for her. So I think simplifying finances, technology, at the house, stuff, decluttering, I think all of that can also really help in creating that sense of zen and overall well-being. So
thank you. That's great. And thank you for sharing so candidly, because I think there is a learning in this for all of us. And I'm glad you also mentioned that these changes which happen in the lives of our parents are also very, very sudden. And in our experience also of I've been with Elders India for about almost a year, and I've realized that we don't have these conversations often enough. That we're like we want to hide our head like an ostrich and say this is not going to happen to me; it's happening to someone else. But when it happens all of a sudden, and we are caught unaware. So thank you for sharing this, so that all of us can be a little more proactive in being mindful of the situations which may arise. So I'm going to finally just get back to you, Sutapa, and one final question for you. Any quick tips that you would like to give the older adults who are here with us, or those who may be watching on Facebook, etc.? Any last tips from your side for them?
Yes, one thing that I've learned over the years, is that circumstances won't change for you. Whatever will happen, will happen. You have to adapt to the changes. You have to seize the initiative and take whatever, opportunities come your way. So you have to understand what suits for you, and you have to just go out and get it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for being so open, so candid, and for sharing these deep experiences of yours. I'm sure there's a lot of learning from this for all of us. Thank you for also having spared your valuable time and being here. I know Rajiv, you're in another country and there's a time difference, so really grateful. Thank you. So I'm going to now invite Raghu, our co-founder. Raghu, I don't see you.
I think Subhasini had a question. Her hand is raised.
Okay. So Subhasini, would you like to ask a question?
Hi, this is Vishwanath Joshi. Hi, Nate. Hi, Rima. I joined in late. Hi, Rajiv. Hello, everybody on Civil Talk is okay.
Yeah.
I relate with Rajiv because I am 62 and my mother is 91 now, and she's with me. And we have a great time. We have a great time. I just let her do what she wishes to do. She's a child, she's a friend, sometimes she's a critic, but she loves and appreciates the sunrises, the sunrise, and she's still full of engineering. That's how I shared a small little snippet with Nidhi today. Like, she says, oh, the toilets need to have this kind of grab rails. She is teaching me engineering after my 47 years of working in civil engineering. But the point is, when I realize all that I need to do is a sense of confidence that I'm there for her, immaterial of what she's going through. As Raju did mention, I have decluttered her life as much as possible. Nothing is imposition. Everything goes with her choice. She gets the priority, not me. I just try to safeguard her situation, medication, happiness, things like that. But Raju gave me a lot of insight in terms of how he goes about with it. So thank you. That's all. I just wanted to express my experience with my mom, who is just right across in the living room and enjoying, waiting for a cup of tea, and me and she going to sit down in the balcony and looking at the pigeons. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing that. I am just going to invite in Raghu. Raghu's also been in the elder care space for a while now, and he's also a son, and he's also had the experience of engaging. So Raghu, would you like to just share your thoughts?
Yeah, thanks, Rima. It was really great to hear the personal experiences of Sutapa and Rajiv. Very well articulated, Rajiv. As was brought out so well in Nidhi's talk, emotional well-being is so key to the overall wellness and healthy aging. And there are definite steps that we can all take in that direction. We have quite a few blind spots or myths when it comes to understanding what the needs of seniors are. Those who have elders to take care, we should think beyond physical safety and health and look at enabling and encouraging social connect opportunities for them. That would be a great gift. Something for the corporates to also think about as they take steps to help their employees with elder care support and benefit. Thank you, Nidhi. Sutapa and Rajiv for an insightful perspective on all these issues. And I do hope this talk will not just to look at this area seriously and actively pursue social connect options for us and for our elders. Thank you all for your participation and do provide your feedback. Back to you, Rima.
Okay, so I just want to say thank you to everybody. I think it's been a wonderful conversation. I personally am taking away a lot, and I think I need to start implementing some of it for my own parents. It's not always easy to convince your parents, but I think we heard some very, very nice, interesting tips from Rajiv and also Subhasini on what we can do to nudge our parents and kind of help them. Nidhi, thank you to you and Silver Talkies. You guys are doing a fantastic job. And I know there are other older adults who are here and who are probably a part of your community. We hope that we can keep adding to this community and make this community a large, impactful community across the country. Our attempt at Elders India is also to ensure that we can build that happy, comfortable, and independent life for our parents, our grandparents, and all older adults. Thank you so much. We will keep having such kind of conversations over the next few months on various topics, and we hope to have many of you back with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Rima. Thank you.
Have a good weekend ahead.
Nidhi.
Thank you, Sutapa. Thank you, Rajiv, for coming today. Thank you. Bye,
Thank you.
everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, all of you.